Hi, Chizu. Hi, everyone.
Okay, we are here now.
Hey, Chizu, did you ever think we'd see the day when Avatar gets a...
Honestly, Ruri, with the rate at which they're milking franchises, I'm surprised it took this long.
True? But I'm excited. And speaking of surprises, did you hear about that fungus in Scotland? It's like The Last of Us is coming to life.
Yeah, nature's own horror show, but let's be real, if mushrooms start taking over humanity, we're toast.
Ha 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 ha. I can't even imagine fighting fungus zombies. I'd probably just trip and fall into a spore cloud.
That would be your fate. Meanwhile, I'd be looting ancient temples for gear.
Ancient temples? In Scotland?
Why not? If we're going full apocalypse, I'm sure there's some forgotten crypt with legendary loot.
Legendary loot. Huh? I bet it would be all moldy.
You, Ruri, you're really reeling the fantasy here.
Sorry. Sorry. But hey, speaking of fantasies, wouldn't it be wild if we could actually play as the Avatar in this new game?
It better be that way, or else what's the point? I want to bend all the elements and save the world.
Or destroy it, if you're feeling chaotic.
Rory, my dear simpleton, when have I ever chosen chaos over order?
Every time you accidentally knock over my plants.
Those were strategic relocations.
Sure, sure. Anyway, I'm curious about the new tech stuff. Did you see that Intel's moving the hotspot around again?
Oh, the never-ending saga of CPU thermodynamics. Yes, I saw. It's like a game of hide and seek for cooling manufacturers.
It's kind of amazing how much thought goes into keeping these tiny electronic brains from melting,
It's all fun and games until your PC turns into a volcano.
right? And then we'd have to deal with actual dragons, not just the ones in our games.
Dragons would be the least of your worries, Ruri. You'd probably try to befriend them.
Of course, who wouldn't want a dragon as a pet?
A dragon would eat you before letting you put a collar on it.
Details, details. So, shall we start talking about the news proper, or do you want to keep rambling about mythical creatures?
Let's get to the news. But remember, no falling into spore clouds. Okay?
Got it? No spore clouds. Let's do this! Alright, switching gears to our first big news. Avatar: The Last Airbender is officially getting an AARPG treatment.
Finally, something worth discussing. I hope they don't mess it up. You know how these adaptations can go.
They're collaborating with the original creators, so I have high hopes. Imagine exploring the world as a new avatar.
As long as I don't have to go through another generic tutorial teaching me how to bend water.
Oh, come on. Learning to waterbend was iconic. But I get it. We want to jump straight into the action.
Exactly. And I hope they nail the combat system. It needs to be as fluid and dynamic as the bending styles we see in the show.
I'm dreaming of combos that blend different elements together. Fire and air combo, anyone?
That would be impressive. But you know what would be even better? If they include those huge earthbending battles.
Yes. And think about the customization. We could have our own animal companions.
Only if I can have Momo. That flying lemur is legit.
Hey, tough luck. I call dibs on Appa. But seriously, the potential for storytelling here is immense.
True. They better not shy away from the darker themes that made the series so compelling.
Absolutely. It's a delicate balance, though. They need to stay true to the source material while offering something fresh.
And they need to make sure the voice acting is top-notch. No one wants a miscast under Zuko.
Oh, speaking of Zuko, can you imagine a redemption arc questline? That would be epic.
Only if it involves a scar that mysteriously changes sides every other scene.
Kizu. That's just nitpicking. Besides, inconsistencies like that add charm.
Charm. Try lack of attention to detail. But I'll forgive it if the game delivers on its promises.
It's still early in development, but I'm optimistic. The world of Avatar deserves a game that does it justice.
Deserves. Yes. Will it get one? We'll have to wait and see. I'm not holding my breath.
You're such a pessimist, but I suppose that's your way of protecting yourself from disappointment.
Call it what you want. I prefer to think of it as being realistic.
Well, Mr. Realist, what kind of gameplay mechanics are you hoping for in this RPG?
I want a deep progression system for each bending style. And puzzles. Lots of element-based puzzles.
Ooh, and what about multiplayer? Battling other players with our own unique bending styles would be so cool.
Multiplayer could be interesting, but only if it's well integrated. I don't want some tacked-on arena mode.
Agreed. It needs to feel like a living, breathing world where bending has real consequences.
And let's not forget the soundtrack. It better be as memorable as the shows.
Definitely. The music is a character in itself. I can already hear the dramatic scores during intense moments.
You're getting ahead of yourself, Ruri. First, let's see if they can even make a decent game.
I know, but a girl can dream, right?
Dream away. Just don't be too heartbroken if it turns out to be a flop.
Thanks for the vote of confidence, Chizu, but I believe in this project. It has so much potential.
Potential is one thing, execution is another. Let's just hope they pull it off.
They will? With the passion of the fans behind them. It's going to be amazing, you'll see.
We'll see, Ruri, we'll see. Now, let's not jinx it by talking about it anymore.
Okay. But I'm marking my calendar for this one. It's going to be a day to remember.
Just remember to bring your own water tribe, Tian. I'm not sharing mine.
No worries there. I'll stock up on cactus juice instead.
Cactus juice? Really, Ruri? Sometimes I wonder about your taste buds.
What? It's refreshing and energizing. Perfect for long gaming sessions.
If you say so. Anyway, let's move on before you start talking about eating jelly-filled sea prunes.
Hey, those are delicious. But fine. Let's talk about something else. Maybe our next topic?
Yes, let's. Because honestly, I've had enough of this Avatar chit-chat for one day.
Speaking of things that can give you a shock, let's dive into the eerie discovery in Scotland. A fungus that turns spiders into zombies has been found.
Zombie spiders? Great, just what we needed. As if spiders weren't creepy enough on their own.
I know, right? It's like nature's own horror movie. This fungus takes control of the spider's body and mind.
Controls them, huh? Sounds like a plot from a bad sci-fi channel original.
But it's real. The spider ends up attached to a leaf, which helps the fungus spread its spores.
So, it's using the spider as a biological drone. That's both fascinating and terrifying.
Totally. It's like a scene straight out of The Last of Us, but thankfully it's not affecting humans yet.
Let's keep it that way. I don't fancy being turned into a mindless mushroom minion.
Me neither. Although I have to admit, the concept is oddly intriguing from a scientific perspective.
Sure, if you're into studying how to enslave arachnids with parasitic fungi.
It's not about that, Chizu. It's about understanding how these complex interactions have evolved in nature.
Evolution gave us puppy dogs and kittens, Ruri. It didn't need to go and invent zombie spiders.
Hey, diversity is key, and who knows? Maybe this fungus holds the secret to some incredible medical breakthrough.
I'll believe it when I see a headline that says, "Fungus cures cancer." Still creepy though.
You never know. Nature has a way of surprising us. Like, who would have thought that penicillin comes from a mold?
Fair point, but I draw the line at spider controlling fungi. There's helping humanity, and then there's just being disturbing.
Disturbing or not, it's a reminder of how much we still have to learn about the world around us.
Learn, yes, but let's not invite these fungi to our picnics. All right?
Agreed. No picnics with the potential for spider zombification. But can you imagine if this was happening on a larger scale?
If it were, we'd be having a very different conversation, probably from inside a bunker.
True. But for now, it's confined to poor, unsuspecting spiders in the Scottish countryside.
Poor spiders. I think we're forgetting who the real victims are here.
Oh, come on, Chizu. Even spiders don't deserve to be turned into fungal marionettes.
Marionettes, eh? I suppose that's one way to look at it. A very poetic way, I might add.
Well, you know me. Always trying to find the beauty in the macabre.
Beauty and the Macabre, Ruri, you're one of a kind. But let's focus on the facts. What happens after the fungus takes over?
After it takes over, the spider changes its web-building behavior to help the fungus spread. It's both tragic and impressive.
Impressive in a nature is metal kind of way, but I have to admit it's an effective survival strategy for the fungus.
Exactly. It's all about ensuring the next generation survives, even if it means turning spiders into unwilling hosts.
Unwilling hosts. That term makes it sound like a galactic invasion film. Next thing you know, the spiders will be forming alliances with us humans to fight back.
Wouldn't that be something? The Spider-Human Alliance against zombifying fungi. It could be the next blockbuster movie.
And here I thought shark nose were the peak of absurd disaster films.
Oh, there's always room for more creativity in Hollywood. Or, in this case, nature.
Creativity or not, I'm keeping my distance from any eight-legged creatures for a while.
Smart choice. But remember, most spiders are more afraid of us than we are of them.
Except for the ones with mind-controlling fungi on board. Those I'm not so keen on.
Understandable, but let's not forget, this is a rare occurrence. We're not heading towards a spider apocalypse anytime soon.
Good to know. I'll sleep easier tonight, even if it's just a little bit easier.
Just a little bit. Chizu? Just a little bit. Now, what's next on our agenda of peculiar news?
Next, we've barely scratched the surface of this spider saga, but I suppose we should leave some mystery for the listeners.
Mystery is good. It keeps things exciting. But for now, let's wrap up this spidery tale and move on to... Oh wait, that's for later.
Much later. For now, let's just hope that the fungus decides to stick to controlling spiders and not anything bigger.
Agreed. The last thing we need is a giant, fungus-controlled spider roaming the streets.
Especially not during rush hour. Traffic is bad enough as it is.
Haha. Imagine the traffic reports. Avoid the city center due to a massive fungal spider blocking all lanes.
Please use alternative routes, and remember, do not approach the spider. It is considered extremely biohazardous.
Extremely biohazardous, indeed. But let's not give our listeners nightmares.
Too late for that, Ruri. But at least we've given them something to think about the next time they see a spider web.
Just think it could be a sign of a fungal revolution, but probably not, so let's not panic.
Right. No panicking. Just calmly inform the nearest mycologist and carry on with our day.
Exactly. Science first. Panic later, if necessary.
Well said, Ruri. Now, before we both start inspecting every spiderweb we come across, let's transition to whatever horror awaits us in our next piece of news.
Horror, huh? I'm ready for it. Bring on the next topic.
Ready or not, here it comes. Brace yourself, Ruri. The world of technology never disappoints when it comes to delivering the unscripted.
Switching gears from spider zombies to computer brains, have you heard about Intel's latest move with their CPUs, Chizu?
Finally, something that won't give me the creeps at night. What's the deal with Intel's new chips?
They're shaking things up with the EPA embedded 8004 series. These processors are designed for embedded systems, and they're packing quite the punch.
Embedded systems, huh? So we're talking about heavy-duty computing in places where you wouldn't normally expect it.
Exactly. We're looking at potential uses in networking, security, and even industrial applications.
Sounds like Intel's trying to sneak their silicon into every nook and cranny of the tech world.
And they're doing it with up to 64 Zen 4C cores. That's a lot of processing power for machines that typically run on less demanding hardware.
Zen 4C cores, you say? So they're leveraging the efficiency of the Zen architecture for these embedded systems.
Precisely. Plus, they've adjusted the thermal design power to fit a wider range of environments, from a modest 70 watts all the way up to 225 watts.
That's quite the range. It means these chips can go into everything from compact edge devices to powerful servers that need to handle massive workloads.
And let's not forget about the memory support. They're boasting up to 1.152 terabytes of DDR5 memory capacity. That's insane.
Insane in the best way possible. It opens up so many possibilities for data-intensive tasks.
Definitely. Imagine the kind of real-time analytics and AI processing you could do with that kind of firepower in an embedded system.
It's like giving these machines a brain transplant. They're going from smart to genius overnight.
Speaking of brain transplants, this could revolutionize how we approach computing at the edge, closer to where data is generated rather than in some distant data center.
Edge computing is all the rage these days. Reduced latency, improved response times. It's the way of the future.
Absolutely. And with the increased core counts, these systems can multitask like never before.
Multitasking is one thing, but I'm more interested in how they plan to manage the heat with these higher power draws.
Good question. Intel's moving the hotspot around, which means cooling manufacturers might have to go back to the drawing board.
Typical Intel. Keeping everyone on their toes, but it's all part of the evolution of processor design, I suppose.
True. And with the shift towards more energy efficient and compact systems, managing heat effectively is more crucial than ever.
I can just picture it now, a bunch of engineers scratching their heads trying to figure out how to dissipate heat from a chip that's pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
It's a challenge, but one that I'm sure they're eager to tackle. After all, innovation thrives on overcoming obstacles.
Overcoming obstacles and creating new problems for cooling solutions, but that's the price of progress, I guess.
Right? And with the demand for computational power only increasing, these advancements are necessary to keep pace with technological growth.
Necessary and exciting. Who knows what kinds of applications we'll see running on these embedded systems in the near future.
The possibilities are endless. From smart cities to advanced manufacturing, the EP Embedded 8004 series could be at the heart of it all.
And let's not overlook the potential impact on AI and machine learning. More cores mean more parallel processing capabilities.
Exactly. We're looking at a future where devices not only respond to our commands, but anticipate our needs and adapt accordingly.
Anticipating needs. That sounds equal parts convenient and eerily reminiscent of science fiction.
It's a fine line to walk, but with great power comes great responsibility, or so I've heard.
Well, if these new chips are going to be responsible for critical infrastructure, they better live up to the hype.
They're EPC by name and hopefully by nature. It's all about providing robust performance in a versatile package.
Versatility is key. These days, you need a Swiss Army knife of processors to meet the diverse demands of the tech landscape.
And with the EP Embedded 8004 series, Intel is aiming to be that Swiss Army knife, offering scalability and flexibility to suit a variety of use cases.
Scalability, flexibility, and a whole lot of cores. It's like the ultimate trifecta for modern computing.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Chizu. Here's to hoping that these new processors pave the way for groundbreaking technologies in the years to come.
And if they happen to give AMD a run for their money in the embedded space, all the better. A little competition never hurt anybody.
Competition fuels innovation, and I'm all for it. May the best chips win.
May the best chips win. Indeed. Now let's see what else is cooking in the tech world. I'm sure there's plenty more to discuss.
There's always more, Chizu, but first, let's take a quick breather and prepare ourselves for the next wave of news. Are you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be. Hit me with your best shot, Ruri. Let's keep this train rolling.
All right, Chizu, let's shift our focus to the gaming realm once more. Have you heard the latest from the world of Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2?
The game that's been stirring up quite the buzz lately. What's the scoop?
It seems like the developers are putting their foot down when it comes to player behavior. they're threatening to take action against toxicity.
About time. No one wants to play in a cesspool of negativity. What brought this on?
Apparently, there have been reports of some players crossing the line with their comments and actions in-game. The devs aren't having any of it.
Good riddance, I say. If you can't play nicely with others, then you don't deserve to play at all.
Exactly, and get this, they're even hinting that you might end up insulting Henry Cavill if you're not careful.
Henry Cavill, the man himself, the Superman and Witcher star, who's also a Warhammer fanboy.
That's the one. He's been spotted playing the game, and the devs are using his involvement as a friendly reminder to keep things civil.
Using his celebrity status to promote a positive gaming environment. Clever move. No one wants to be the jerk who trash talks Superman.
It's a smart tactic, and it's not just about avoiding insults. The devs are encouraging players to be respectful, mature, and mannerly with their fellow Space Marines.
Respect and maturity in online gaming. Now I've heard everything.
Hey, there's a first time for everything. But in all seriousness, it's great to see a studio taking a firm stance against toxicity.
Agreed. It's a step in the right direction for the gaming community as a whole. We need more developers to follow suit.
And it's not just empty threats, either. They're planning to implement measures to prevent and address harmful behavior.
I'm curious to see what those measures will look like. Hopefully they're effective and fair.
They've also teased a new PvE operations map coming in Season 2, set on the planet Karaku with a new enemy and a harder difficulty level.
A new map and more challenges. Count me in. I love a good test of skill, especially when it comes to taking down Tyranids.
Same here, and with the promise of free updates, including a 4K texture pack for PC players, it looks like Space Marine 2 is shaping up to be quite the treat.
Free updates are always welcome, but I'm particularly interested in the new customization options they mentioned.
Oh, like the new colors for the lenses. That's going to add a nice touch of personalization to the game.
Personalization is key. It makes the grind feel more rewarding when you can show off your unique style on the battlefield.
And let's not forget about the ongoing efforts to improve server stability and address connectivity issues.
Server stability is crucial, especially for a game that relies heavily on multiplayer experiences.
Absolutely. Nothing ruins the mood like getting disconnected in the middle of an intense match.
Tell me about it. But with the recent patch 3.0, it seems like they're on the right track.
They sure are. And the fact that they're listening to community feedback is a good sign that they're committed to making Space Marine 2 the best it can be.
Community feedback is invaluable. It's the players who breathe life into these games, after all.
True. And speaking of community, the devs have also been teasing some unannounced cosmetic items that data miners have uncovered.
Data miners always seem to find the juicy secrets. I'm eager to see what other surprises the devs have hidden up their sleeves.
Surprises are fun, but only if they enhance the gameplay experience. It's a delicate balance to strike.
Balance is everything, but as long as they keep the main focus on improving the game, I'm all for a few extra goodies.
Agreed. And with Season 2 running until the end of 2024, we can expect a steady stream of content to keep us engaged.
A steady stream of content, plus a healthy dose of anti-toxicity measures, equals a happy gaming community.
Here's hoping that other games will take notice and follow in Space Marine 2's footsteps.
One can dream. But for now, let's celebrate the small victories in the ongoing battle against online negativity.
Celebrate we shall, and maybe, just maybe, we'll see a kinder, more respectful gaming world in the future.
Stranger things have happened, Ruri. Stranger things have happened.
Indeed. Now, let's cross our fingers that the rest of the news is just as positive and uplifting as this.
Positive and uplifting in the gaming industry. I'll believe it when I see it.
Oh, you have little faith. There's always room for positivity, even in the most unexpected places.
Well, I suppose there's a first time for everything. Lead the way, Ruri. Let's see what other pleasant surprises await us.
Speaking of unexpected places, let's dive into the world of hardware with some news from AMD. They've just launched their EP-SI embedded 8004 series processors, and it's causing quite a stir.
AMD is always pushing the envelope, aren't they? What's so special about this new lineup?
For starters, these chips are packed with up to 64 Zen 4 C cores, which is a pretty big deal for embedded systems.
Zen 4 C cores, huh? So they're doubling down on core density and efficiency. That's definitely going to turn some heads.
Absolutely. And with a TDP range from 70 to 200 watts, they're suitable for a wide array of applications, from edge computing to industrial automation.
That kind of versatility is essential in today's market. Everyone's looking for that sweet spot between performance and power consumption.
Exactly, and let's not forget about the massive memory support. Up to 1.152 terabytes of DDR5 memory capacity. That's going to enable some serious multitasking.
Multitasking on a scale we haven't seen before in embedded systems. This could revolutionize how these markets operate.
It's not just about revolutionizing, though. It's about setting a new standard for what embedded processors are capable of.
A new standard, eh? I'm curious to see how competitors will respond to this power move by AMD.
It's going to be an interesting race, that's for sure. And with the inclusion of PCIe 5.0 support, these processors are ready to handle the fastest SSDs and peripherals out there.
PCIe 5.0 is a game changer for data transfer speeds. It's like opening the floodgates for data flow.
No kidding. And when you combine that with the increased core counts, you're looking at a monumental leap forward for embedded computing.
Monumental leap or potential headache for thermal management. We'll have to see how that plays out.
True, cooling solutions will need to evolve to keep up with these high-performance chips. But that's just part of the innovation cycle.
Innovation cycle or not, overheating is no joke. It can make or break the reliability of these systems.
Reliability is key, especially for the industries that will be adopting these processors. Downtime can be costly.
Very costly, but I'm sure AMD has taken that into consideration during the design phase of these CPUs.
Of course, they're not just throwing more cores at the problem and hoping for the best. There's a method to the madness.
I should hope so. With great power comes the need for great cooling solutions.
And speaking of power, the top-end SKU in this series, the 8534P, boasts 64 cores with a boost clock of up to 3.1 gigahertz.
3.1 gigahertz on a chip with that many cores is nothing to sneeze at. It's going to be a beast for parallel processing tasks.
Definitely. And while it may not reach the dizzying heights of some desktop CPUs in terms of clock speed, the sheer number of cores makes up for it.
It's all about finding the right balance for the intended workload. You don't always need the highest clock speeds to get the job done efficiently.
Right? And for tasks that are heavily threaded, these EP high-C processors are going to shine brightly.
Shine brightly, or perhaps glow red hot from all that processing power. Either way, it's impressive.
Impressive and potentially transformative for sectors that rely on high-density computing in compact form factors.
Compact form factors that pack a punch? It's like the Swiss Army knife of processors, as I mentioned earlier.
A Swiss Army knife with the brute strength of a heavyweight boxer. It's an exciting time to be in the tech industry, that's for sure.
Exciting and a tad overwhelming, if you ask me. Keeping up with all these advancements is a full-time job in itself.
But it's a job worth doing, especially when it means we get to witness the boundaries of technology being pushed further and further.
Witness, and maybe, just maybe, understand the implications of these advancements.
Understanding is half the battle. The other half is applying this newfound knowledge to solve real-world problems.
Real-world problems that, thanks to AMD's ingenuity, might soon become a little less daunting.
Exactly. And who knows what kind of innovations will spring forth from the foundation that these EP embedded processors provide.
Innovations that could very well shape the future of technology. It's an exhilarating thought.
exhilarating, and inspiring. It's a reminder that the possibilities are endless when it comes to computing power.
Endless possibilities and countless opportunities to make our lives easier, safer, and more connected.
Connected in ways we're only beginning to comprehend. The age of intelligent embedded systems is upon us.
Intelligent and, hopefully, user-friendly. Because what's the point of all this power if we can't harness it effectively?
User-friendliness is a must. It's no use having cutting-edge technology if it's not accessible to those who need it most.
Accessibility is the name of the game, and with AMD's latest offering, they're certainly playing to win.
Playing to win and setting the stage for the next wave of technological breakthroughs.
Breakthroughs that I'm sure we'll be eagerly discussing in future episodes of our podcast.
Future episodes that promise to be just as thrilling and informative as today's.
Thrilling, informative, and hopefully filled with more good news like this.
More good news and fewer spider zombies, if we're lucky.
Ah, yes. Let's keep the spider zombies confined to the realm of science fiction, where they belong.
Agreed. Now let's wrap up this discussion on AMD's impressive feat of engineering and move on to the final segment of our podcast.
Sounds like a plan. Here's to AMD for keeping the tech world on its toes, and to us for navigating the ever-evolving landscape of innovation. Cheers.
Cheers, Chizu. And here's to our listeners for joining us on this journey through the latest and greatest in tech news.
Without our listeners, we'd just be two nerds talking to themselves, so thank you, dear audience, for your continued support and engagement.
Your support means the world to us, and we can't wait to share even more exciting developments with you in the weeks to come.
Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay respectful in your online interactions.
Wise words to live by. And with that, we conclude our deep dive into the fifth piece of news for today's episode.
A deep dive that was both enlightening and, dare I say, enjoyable despite my usual sunder demeanor.
Enjoyable it was, and I'm already looking forward to what we'll be discussing next time. But for now, let's take a moment to appreciate the marvels of modern technology.
A moment well deserved. Now let's gear up for our outro and bid our listeners farewell until we meet again with more news, more banter, and more insights.
And that's a wrap, folks. We've covered a lot of ground today, from zombie fungi to high-powered processors and everything in between.
It's been quite the ride, and we couldn't have done it without you tuning in. Thank you for spending part of your day with us.
Remember, if you enjoyed our discussions, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our future episodes.
And don't forget to follow us on social media for all the latest updates and some behind-the-scenes shenanigans.
We love hearing from you, so feel free to leave us a comment with your thoughts on today's topics or suggestions for what you'd like us to cover next.
Your feedback is invaluable to us. It helps us grow and ensure that we're bringing you the content you want to hear.
Absolutely. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to explore in greater depth, drop us a line. We're all ears.
Just remember, no spoilers for any games or movies. We like to go into things with fresh eyes, just like many of you.
Fresh eyes and open minds. That's the philosophy we strive to uphold with every episode.
Philosophy and a healthy dose of humor, which I like to think I contribute in spades.
Spades of humor, buckets of sass, and a pinch of soon, soon, soon for good measure. That's the recipe for a successful podcast, right?
Right. And let's not forget the occasional dollop of dare when Ruri says something particularly adorable.
Adorable? Who's the adorable one now? I think the heat from those new AMD processors is getting to your head, Chizu.
Perhaps. Or maybe I'm just feeling generous after such an engaging episode. Don't get used to it.
Wouldn't dream of it. But in all seriousness, we genuinely appreciate each and every one of you for being a part of our community.
Community is what it's all about. We're just two voices in a vast sea of information, and it's your support that keeps us afloat.
So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We'll be back soon with more news, more insights, and more of our signature banter.
Until then, take care of yourselves, stay hydrated, and game on responsibly, of course.
responsibly and with enthusiasm. Embrace the joys of technology, but remember to unplug and enjoy the real world every now and then.
Balance is key, as we've learned today. Now go forth and spread the word about our humble little podcast.
And with that, we bid you farewell. Join us next time for another round of tech talk, gaming goodness, and whatever else the digital winds may blow our way.
Farewell for now, but not forever. We'll see you on the flip side, ready to dive into the next batch of news that's sure to captivate and surprise us all.
Take care, stay curious, and keep being awesome. Signing off, this is Ruri and Chizu, wishing you a fantastic day or night wherever you are in the world.
Goodbye, dear listeners. We leave you with the warmest of regards and the promise of more podcast magic in the near future. Catch you on the next wave.